This is Fictional Problems, the podcast where we discuss all things writing, in association with Speculative Fiction Ireland. In today's episode, we have a look at some of the rules from some well-known authors. We offer our opinions on Brandon Sanderson's 3 Laws of Magic and a small number of Stephen King's general rules of writing. Join us. And welcome back to Fictional Problems, the podcast where we discuss all things writing in association with Speculative Fiction Ireland with your hosts, myself, Gary J. Martin.
And myself, A.R. McNevin.
And now that you have properly followed the rules for our little introduction here, what are we going to talk about, Al? Rules?
We're going to other people's rules. So we are not the people, we're not the rule people.
No.
But everyone else appears to be, or at least it seems to be the case that if you're a writer out there, you are asked at some point to give your rules for writing.
Boy.
And I tend to oppose almost every one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this isn't a podcast. Like, if someone is tuning in for the first time, I'm sorry to say, this is not a strict advice. Here's a list of 10 things you should do to write your novel, or this is 10 things that a character needs to be or needs to do, or anything like that. We don't do that.
No.
We discuss all things writing, of course, but we're not imposing any kind of hard and fast set of, like, no template of, do this and you will succeed, because we have no idea.
And indeed, well, no, we are massively opinionated. That's what it is. The case that there is certain rules for, like, typeface and don't have one paragraph fill one page.
Just common sense structural things that you should always do.
But but when it comes to your story,
is this the creative side of things, the rules that we're going to list off here,
which tend to be often they can sound like they're good.
Okay, so who will we start with? I mean, I presume we're going to start with not start with, but we have a list of popular, we'll call them successful.
All successful.
All successful, all popular.
And all well known, or some of them shouldn't be. They start off with I think the worst of the lot. So Brandon Sanderson, this guy
of Mistborn fame.
Yes,
Cosmere
crap. Yeah, I am not a fan. An old friend of mine used to basically he read the first book and it was terrible, and the second book and the terrible, and third book was like, in the back of my head was like,
why did you get to book 3?
Yeah, what point? It was just to the point of discussion session.
Now, I will say, just as Sanderson goes, I have only read Mistborn.
Okay.
Of the Final Empire series.
Sure. And that's all you need to, because that's his first main, not his first novel, but his first main novel, and it shows up all his problems, which is interesting. So his first law, I think this guy who teaches, he's
online a lot.
Absolutely. I tend to think that his opinions are very poorly constructed, but that he has developed a fan base, apparently a very good mailing list. So it is.
That's what we're missing, is a good mailing list.
Yes, it is, apparently so. So I think you may know this because this got publicized a lot around the publishing of the first and second Mistborn movies, first and second Mistborn books. So his first law is, drum roll please.
Does he call them laws?
He calls them laws, yes.
That just seems a little bit pretentious.
His laws of magic, right? So his first law of magic: your ability to solve problems in a satisfying way with magic is directly proportional to how well your reader understands said magic. I'll read that again, because this go on long. A run-on sentence. Your ability to solve problems in a satisfying way with magic is directly proportional to how well your readers understand that magic.
Huh. Okay.
So it means that you have to describe your magic or your super science, or your
Should have described that law a little better, but
yeah. You have to describe, before you can use your magic in a satisfying way to solve a problem, the reader must first understand it.
Okay. Well, everything about it.
Yes.
In total, full, having gone to wizard school.
Is directly proportional to how well you understand it. So if you want to resolve small problems, you can do so with limited understanding.
Okay.
Describe to me what the Jedi do. You can't.
They use the Force. Broadly speaking.
Yeah. So is that sufficient to solve problems? Apparently it isn't. It is, and given that in there, so one of the reasons why I think this is such a bad law is I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy called Brendan Sanderson. He wrote a book called Mistborn. And in the first book of that series, he solves problems with magic before talking about it.
Yeah, allomancy, yeah.
No. So allomancy he spends a lot of fucking time introducing. Yeah. But there's a second form of magic where instead of consuming magic, you hold these bracers and you build the power into the metals.
Yeah.
And there's a secondary character who comes along who saves the girl. He doesn't bother telling you about how that.
He's broken his first law.
He breaks his first law halfway through his first book.
Come on now.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds. I can understand where he's going with that. You must try to explain your magic system to your reader. But if someone picks up a book and it's about magic, or has magic elements in it, or picks up a book and has science fiction elements in it, then that person doesn't need to understand how the shields work.
No.
Right away. They don't need to know. We talked
just that there are shields.
That there are shields. And they understand.
Or that there is magic.
Yes.
That can have effects.
Yeah. When a fireball goes off, or a lightning bolt gets fired, or when a laser gets fired, there is a certain common understanding of what these things are.
Yeah.
And
there's a baseline of the fans of these type of science fiction fantasy. They understand there's an element that they don't understand.
Yes.
That is part of the story, and it shouldn't really.
So it
doesn't take away from the magic that you don't understand.
Your version of magic, and the thing is, what I'm picturing is major things happening at the start of a book. That there is the big battles in Lord of the Rings, or we've mentioned like the start of Song of Ice and Fire, or all these big things that happen that have these supernatural elements to them, or magical elements to them. No one's bothering to explain it.
No. Does anyone know? Oh, okay. When it says, "Oh, he poured all his malice and ill will into the ring," did he?
Yeah.
From a jug?
Yeah.
What? What did Sauron do exactly to pour all his hatred and malice and ill will into this ring so he could control them all?
Exactly.
And why does it turn people invisible?
Exactly.
No one cares. I don't care.
Or what is Gandalf?
Yeah.
No,
he's a wizard.
No, he's not. He's a member of the IR.
Okay.
What's a Balrog?
It's a demon.
No, it's a member of the IR.
Are they cousins?
They're basically the same source. They're the same thing. And that's why he could face them off one-on-one. It wasn't a tiny old guy against a fucking massive fire, but the fact that it's not the first thing you go to is because that's not explained.
No one needs to explain that.
Like, what is the fire of Arun? No one
knows.
But no one needs to know because it's just a fucking cool scene.
Yeah. How does he speak to eagles? I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Why is he talking to a moth? Why is that?
Is he a druid? I don't know. From Dungeons and Dragons? I have no idea.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
So you don't have to explain. I think it's so often repeated that. And the reason why this really sticks in me is in a satisfying way.
Yeah.
Because I've seen this.
That's the qualification
defended online. It's like, well, what you're talking about isn't satisfactory. Sorry, the Balrog fight isn't satisfactory. No,
that's very satisfactory.
You're not
pivotal.
It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
there's a great fight beforehand, and there's a great emotional scene afterwards. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
there is.
I guess when Brandon Sanderson is talking about his hard magic system, I guess there's all soft magic, hard magic.
Sure.
In fantasy, it's like so Gandalf has generally powers that do general stuff when he wants.
He's absolutely
That's soft magic, but
Yes.
he's very much a hard magic system
and I am
advocate, I guess.
I am absolutely a hard magic system
Yeah.
person. In fact, if I would, I every I am every system in the world. I've mentioned before that how I write science fiction is how I write fantasy is from a science fiction point of view,
Okay.
and that is a hard, to kind of almost hard tech
Yeah.
way, as in this happens because of this.
Yeah.
And I'm not spending my time explaining to someone why this didn't happen.
No, you don't need to.
Yeah. It's just you put the system in place. You make it as hard as possible, a hard system as possible, and they don't need to understand.
Yeah.
All you need to know is this person is a time mage. Great, that's it.
Yeah, you can have you have all the different types of like a hard system, soft system, somewhere in between system that has certain rules. I think in those circumstances, consistency throughout your story
Absolutely.
is what is important.
Yes.
Like you can't have general magic happens, and then like later on you go, well, it happens because of X components in certain way from a certain area will have this effect. Pick a lane.
Yeah,
I guess throughout your story, not to confuse readers, but yeah, you can have whatever you want. Just be consistent in its application, use, effects, etc.
Oh, 100%. And that's it. And as boring as that term is, as in be consistent, it's like saying be grey.
But it's like having consistent characters.
I'm 100% agreeing. I'm 100% agreeing with you. Indeed, I would rewrite this law to say that the ability to solve problems in a satisfying way with magic is directly proportional to how well the writer understands said magic.
Yes,
because if you have suddenly the powerful person, the mage, the wizard, whatever, it goes clack, 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 and then everyone just bows.
Yeah.
So what the fuck did happen? Okay, he solved the problem in a satisfying way. Right, he's leaving. What happened? All you need to know is something strange and mysterious just happened.
Yeah.
And as long as that power can be used again in repeated ways, something that's often misused in modern writing, that powers are just invented for an episode.
For the situation, and they forget that they ever knew how to do that thing next week.
Yeah, it's like the I remember the line from, it was after the Dark Knight. It was in Dark Knight Rises. It's like we need to find Bane. It's like and it was the meme of, well, if only we had a cell phone system that could scan the entire city. Fucking moron.
Yeah.
So you could. And then that is almost like the almost comic reversal of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
yeah, I would disagree strongly with that particular law.
Yeah. Okay. So there's only 3 of these. So I'll go to the other 2. So Sanderson's second law: the limitations of a magic system are more interesting than the powers themselves.
Well, I guess it is. It's kind of a bad standpoint when you can explain what happens in the story by saying a wizard did it.
Sure.
And there's no real grounding. There's no real kind of actual process of what was done and the effect that it had, and like. Saying just a wizard did it kind of is bad writing, I think. But just let's hear the law just one more time, just to see if
you get it. So the limitations of a magic system are more interesting than the powers themselves.
Oh well, I think I disagree with that one as well.
I unfortunately agree with it. Why do you disagree with it?
I think because while the limitations of a particular magic system are necessary, as in is the character unlimited in their power, then they're essentially a god. And the limitations or say things like a spell failing at a inopportune moment, can create story.
That's right. How would that be a limitation? That's an event, no?
Well, depending on the circumstances of the story.
Sure.
Like a character who previously relied on this particular spell to do this thing to get them out of a similar situation in the past. Now it doesn't happen because of something that the antagonist is doing. You can create kind of story beats.
Yeah, that's fine. Indeed, that is. But the good storytelling.
Yeah, but the limitations are more interesting.
Yes.
I don't know. Does that? It doesn't. It seems a little counterintuitive to me because
for example, like if we go back to Gandalf, we don't
Yep.
really know what his limitations are, but he's still interesting.
Yes, but we also don't know we also don't know his powers are.
Sure.
So
He doesn't seem to have limitations
from
other
a point of argument, you're saying we don't know what his powers are, and we don't know we don't know his limitations are.
Yeah. At the same time.
So how can that be used to evaluate whether or not powers are better than limitations?
Well, if we don't know his limitations or his powers, I guess we can't tell which is more interesting. I guess,
So it makes a very bad point.
Yeah.
It does.
We'll cut that. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like Gary being an idiot for 30 seconds or longer.
So
okay, so why do you agree?
So it is. So as much as I fucking hate this guy, the powers tend to be more ubiquitous, or tend to be more well used than limitations. So to clarify that, the wizard can throw the fireball. The guy can shoot the laser. In order to use the big laser gun, you have to charge it. In order to, hell, even if it's a gun, in order to fire it, you have to have bullets. There is for whether it be super science or tech or magic, the limitation tells you there's a thing to overcome, and it limits the capacity of that person to do that thing. And indeed it is. And then in the telling of the story, you can either overcome that limitation, or you can deliver the hopefully satisfactory result by using that limitation, by abiding by it, essentially,
as part of the narrative.
Yes. So the story, so you can grant
but while interesting limitations, but what is it more interesting? So say in Mistborn, where they required a certain metals to do certain things, and they can burn them and run out.
Yeah.
And that could create an interesting situation where, oh shit, or with a gun, I'm out of ammo.
Yes.
Now I have to swing this gun at their head or something.
Exactly.
But is it more interesting?
Yes. So and that's why I would say that it is the thing that drives the story more than the power. And from a writing point of view, then if you're building, because this is about building the magic system.
Yeah.
And
is it equally interesting, or is it more interesting?
I would go for the more rather than equal, because the magic itself it's like the special effect.
Yeah.
And the limitation is character. And that's where, like, say in quantumancy, for example, we have quantumancy as a form of magic. We have witchcraft, we have hermetics, we have fae. Well, we have all these different magic sources, and they all do different things in different ways.
Yeah.
And one of the root things I think I've mentioned in the second book is that the green witches they're the best people if you're about to have a battle, they're the best people you want on your side to set the battlefield.
Okay.
There is geomancy, and there's other different things that the hermetics use. There is the witches are best at basically at long term low level effects, gravity essentially, while the hermetics are more nuclear power. They'll destroy a city, while a witch will erode it over time. So these limitations, they'll still come to the same end, but both of them describe their almost cultures in different ways.
Okay.
The witches will be around for generations. They are both long-lived individuals, but the wizards are more reactive.
Okay.
They will happily just they'll happily do the big thing, and they'll do it in a quick way because they have the capacity to do it. The witches don't have that capacity to do it, but they both will have, say, grudges, but those grudges manifest in different ways. Okay. So essentially, and indeed in quantumancy, it's a lot about what system of magic you are attached to, or what system of magic you represent.
Yeah.
Then that tells a lot about that character. And then it's just like how you describe what an elf is or what a dwarf is, and then you go, this is an elf, but this is a hermetic wizard, but this
not
is a
like
witch.
other girls.
But exactly. that they are a girl but not like other girls, that you set up the set of attributes for that person or that type, and then you go exception. Here are the exceptions to it. In this, you are setting up your magic system with all the limitations built into it.
Yeah.
That person, are they also bound by those limitations? So you have an exception. So what if you had a witch who could quick cast, who could go here have her reaction, which is not going spoilers, which is if you then gave that ability to a witch, or if you retracted that limitation from that character, what are you doing to that world?
Become unbridled power.
Well, depending on the limit, the limitation removed, but it could be something like that. What if you have all magic now? In any world, say you're limited to the magic can only be cast between the hours of darkness.
Yeah.
And so these wizards are they like the winter because it's more time with their power.
Yeah.
And they don't like the summer because they barely have any power.
Move to Canada.
Oh yeah, but then yes. But then in your world, you have the northern wizards and the southern wizards, or you have the equatorial wizards who get by without their magic because for the most of the time they don't have it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you then end up having a world building effect of suddenly the northern guys are we're big and powerful, we're going to invade the south.
Yeah.
Well, and what happens when they invade the south? Their power goes away. But the guys in the south go, we're used to operating without power.
We're not going near the north because
we're not going to attack. We're going to happily defend. Yeah. And when you're going, hang on, why is our magical weapon stop working?
Now I'm probably. Yeah, I know I'm probably wrong in this thing, but Superman 2 came to mind.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think, which is more interesting, Superman with his powers or Superman without his powers? Because remember, he gives up. He goes into the Fortress of Solitude and gives up his superpowers.
But how is that a limitation and not an extraction?
Yeah, well, like you're saying, it becomes character when he loses his powers.
Yes, but you are removing the magic system completely in that regard.
Yeah, not a limitation. Yeah, I
so it's not a limitation.
I'm just saying it was something that came to mind. Sure. It's like I was trying to contemplate which part of that was more interesting. Was it when Superman is flying around and saving the world, or when he is human?
Yeah,
I was like, kind of when he gets his powers back,
Oh, sure. Well, that'd be not part of this conversation.
Yeah. So it was just something that came to mind. I was like,
sure,
trying to put it into an example.
Oh, sure. But to get to the guy, the northern and southern guys, if one of the southern guys. One of the northern guys suddenly could use their powers by day.
Yeah,
then that changes the dynamic completely. So the limitations and both introducing new limitations and by altering the current ones, you suddenly have a story that's generated out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that. And indeed, the magic, what they can do, that's. What the magic can do in one sense is foreground stuff. It's the special effect. I would only make the exception that, say, in Quantumancy, because in any system or any book where you have multiple different competing magic forms, then that becomes again another part of the story. But if you look at any individual magic system in, say, Quantumancy as an example, they are all operating under X number of limitations.
Okay.
And I could go into...
You convince me. You convince me.
I think, and I started off by hating on the first one and liking the second one. And let's see how the third one goes. So if the third one goes well, I'm still going to hate the guy. So the third law, his third law of magic is... Crap. Expand on what you have already. Add before adding something new. So I'll say that again because I muffled a bit. Expand on what you have already before adding something new.
Okay, in terms of magic system, I'm trying to think of an example. So,
which, by the way, he fails to do in the first book. He adds something new halfway through the first book because he couldn't get the.
Is that the
alternative
bracer things that he didn't expand upon?
No. He instead of instead of using another Allomancy character, he just introduced a new guy with a new magic system.
Yeah.
Because
is this the guy reading the journals? Is it like
he's a scribe type?
Yeah, he's a historian. He's one of of a rare or previously wiped out.
I think
or
that
mostly
that sort of
extinct
trope. Yeah,
type of thing, and he doesn't really expand.
Yeah, but but in this case, he added something rather than using his already established single magic system. He added a second magic system, which was a tangential one, rather than building upon his what was already there.
Yeah.
So he fails at this.
He broke his
again. He's breaking his own laws, and this is what this is what he teaches people. So in a sense, yes, hypocrite, but.
Yeah, at least we don't try and teach anybody anything.
Fuck no.
Nobody should be tuning in here to learn anything.
Fuck. No. So I would be in two minds about this, because the system really should. So world building in itself, I don't think you should be adding just on the whim.
Yeah, certainly not shoehorning in something that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So
we're in a different. Aha! We all of a sudden have these, holy hand grenades that we can just chuck. We didn't have before, but now we do.
Like I always point to the time turner as a thing that just appeared out of nowhere. It's like, no, we want to get rid of that. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah. It broke our story.
Yes, and it broke your world. It just utterly destroyed it. It's a odd consideration because everything should be built. Everything should be in place beforehand.
Yeah.
So.
But you're not necessarily.
So
he may have had that already built, but just not introduced it. But he didn't expand that it was possible to infuse objects with this kind of magic before.
Oh, sure.
Before this character used.
But then we go back to for on Sanderson himself. We'd then go back to option 1 or law 1, and say that he didn't explain it.
Yeah,
I would say that, and this is again from a writing point of view. All of the rules of how your magic system works should be in place beforehand.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be expanding upon them. You shouldn't be adding something new, to be sure, but you shouldn't be expanding on them per se, in that they should be already bounded.
But it's hard to know with just such a brief little soundbite, I suppose, from that law, as to like whether or not he's referring to, like, the context is important, but we don't know the context so far as from, say, Vin's point of view.
No, who's
learning.
This is from a writing point of view.
I know, yeah, but from the character, is that what he's talking about?
No, it's from the right. That's what I'm saying. That's from the.
Okay.
It's from the right. It's because if the first law refers to the reader. So, and the second law refers to limitations. So these are things that are part of your writing process.
Yeah.
So the third law can't be internal to a story. It has to be about the story itself. And these are things he recommends to writers, not to characters in stories.
Okay.
So if he is saying that, and the characters can't expand, only the writer can expand. So if it's saying, like you mentioned before, about the idea of the person suddenly having an ability that they didn't have before, and now they forget about it and they won't look at it again. Uh-huh. That's an example of terrible writing, and I think that's where the expanding comes from, where you are expanding out. Like suddenly they can heal people, or the Jedi can heal people. Why? Because we need it later on. And that's an expand. And you say, "Oh, that was in the extended universe." Yeah, well, maybe it shouldn't have been in the extended universe.
Well, actually, it was in The New Hope. I'm gonna say Ben Kenobi heals Luke, who got, doesn't he?
No.
When he holds his hand to his forehead, maybe he's checking his temperature, but it looked certainly like he was trying to heal him.
No, you're thinking,
Obi-Wan does not heal Luke and get him back to consciousness?
No, he doesn't.
After he takes a tumble from the Sand People?
No, he doesn't.
Are you sure?
Yes. Well, yes, because at no point were you having this discussion about it until they make a reference later on about it. No one was saying the Jedi can heal, and then everyone was having a problem. So the discourse explains that didn't happen.
Other than the fact he was knocked out and then he kind of woke up.
Yeah. People wake up.
Sure. But he woke up after. Like, what was that gesture? What was he doing?
Okay, what
was he checking to see his pulse? He wasn't like it wasn't fingers on the neck. He had his hand on his forehead, on his mind. You could argue.
And I will put.
So how did that wake him up if it wasn't using the force to heal him?
It's like I just dived into a conversation with anti-vaxxers. No, that's just silly. They're
saying it wasn't established before. I'm saying there's an interpretation that says it was.
Then you're going to in one breath you say it was established here, and then an interpretation to make an establishment. No, at no point did George Lucas or did anyone say this was a healing power.
Sure, but it's it's in you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
So no one he's not going to go, "Hey, R2, I'm just healing Luke here. Just give me a minute." He's not going to explain. That situation is just between one unconscious person and one conscious person. It's not. There's no explanation to a third individual.
When you are talking about extended universe, you are.
Okay.
So when you are building an extended, because he went into massive detail about what is movie, what is comic book, what is book, and there's different strata of what he accepted as canon.
Okay.
And at no point
did he say Jedi can heal people
until it was introduced later on. So it was, and that then fell into the book category, not the film category. So
all right.
If it already existed in the film category, then it should have been put in there. So the guy who fucking created it was saying no.
That's a different thing.
How so?
Oh, insofar as if he says no, that's it.
No, but
it doesn't.
He didn't bring it in.
Yeah.
So that is a de facto statement.
So maybe it was just checking his temperature on the ground. Who knows what was Ben doing then?
Yeah,
just checking he was alive.
Or perhaps it was a movie made in the 70s before the general level of first aid was as well as is known now.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So let's skip past.
Let's move away.
We've done it for enough for Sanderson.
Anything born of the mist?
Yeah, because he was what it was. So who we go? We've got Gaiman, Vonnegut, or King. Which
that's Stephen King.
Stephen King. Okay, right.
The king of horror.
Let's see. So how many of these am I going to disagree with? Right. So
is it just 3 again?
No, there's a fucking ton. There is 14.
We mightn't get through all of them.
We might get through them. We'll see where we are. I imagine we're not going to find as many disagreements. Number one, if you want to be a writer, you must do 2 things above all others: read a lot and write a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I no notes.
Yeah, fair enough. I would.
I mean, someone who doesn't read or write, how are they going to become a writer if they're not writing?
No, but that's the most important 2 things above all others.
Is to read a lot and write a lot. Yeah. I say with the writing thing, maybe you could go, well, law of averages. At some point, you'll become a good writer if you practice your craft over and over and over again. You could, again, law of averages, come across something pretty amazing.
Oh, sure. No,
and reading a lot, put aside how enjoyable that is. Just from
not necessarily. If you read a lot, you're going to come across some clankers.
Sure.
What Sturgeon's law, 9% of all media is shit.
But reading a lot is no. But the benefit of that is you will be able to easier. It's easier to distinguish what's good and bad if you read a lot. It's like just statistics, broad sample. So if you read 1,000 books and 650 of them. Great. Then you have plenty of examples of what is great and what you enjoyed and how what made you.
Oh, sure.
And then the rest you go, well, not so. I know what to avoid now. So you just, again, law of averages. If you have a wider sample population, statistically speaking, you will become more familiar with what you like and what you don't like. As opposed to reading 2 books and going, one was great, the other one was crap.
But then,
I'm kind of at a loss.
So then. That boils down to what something that we were mentioning offline, the idea of talent. So, and media comprehension. That if you're reading a lot, are you reading the right stuff? Because if you spend your time, like people say, when people look at whenever I'm on a Zoom call, as my bookshelf is right behind me, and on one half of it is clearly there's a fuck ton of graphic novels. Well, got a lot from Marvel.
Yeah.
Middle section is role playing books, and the other section is more kind of novels, kind of more fiction. And people say, oh, why do you read comic books? I was like, well, comic books. Some comics have
Great stories in comic books.
fantastic stories.
Yeah.
Like Planetary is absolutely fantastic. So it depends on what you're reading, and then it depends on what you're writing. Because I would say that like there's certain practices that I get that you do the same thing over and over and over again. But again, if you do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results, that's insanity. That it depends on what you're reading and depends on what. It's the reason why I will still listen to things like Fox News or as in the right wing media sphere to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, alternative viewpoints are good.
Just also to keep up to date on what their bullshit going. But listening to them, listening to how they ask their questions, is more interesting than just reading a lot from your end of the spectrum.
Oh, of course, yeah. Don't put yourself in an echo chamber.
Exactly. So I would only clarify that thing by saying as from a diverse field as possible.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. I always. Well, I always am open to good works of fiction that are outside of the genre I write in. So I would read outside of my genre quite frequently.
Yeah, I wouldn't even classify that put that as a classification of inside my genre, outside. It would just be work.
Yeah, it's just if I get a particular novel recommended and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get into that, give it a look, and it's all money in the bank as far as I'm concerned. Every book you read is good in some way, whether you can use it in a particular way. So if there's parts you enjoyed, parts you didn't like, you can kind of see how it's done,
absolutely,
and avoid how it's done in at the same time.
Yeah, you can see, and indeed, one thing that I've done in the past, just in my normal curmudgeonary way, is I will read a novel and I'll be deciding how I want it to go. I'll go, what if this happens? Oh, that'd be great. And then oftentimes, and this has happened more than once, and I will say not often, but has happened more than once, where the plot has taken such a skew away from what I wanted. Suddenly I have a story to write. Suddenly it's like oh, so you decided to kill off the princess rather than bring her to make her the successful royal. Oh, okay. So now I have a story about a princess who will become a successful royal, and it's like, okay, this is
springboard.
Exactly. So it suddenly becomes you take the existing pieces and then you have a new story that they decided not to go down. So okay, yeah. So far, so good.
King's the man so far, yeah.
I was skipping over 1 or 2 because 1 or 2 is basically talking about actual structural stuff.
Okay.
So next one, situation comes first. The characters always flat and unfeatured to begin with come next.
I'm not sure what he means by that. Always flat and unfeatured?
Yeah, so that the characters his characters grow, I guess. So this is where I would
not sure about that one.
Yeah. So situation comes first. I would say yes and no. I'd say that the world building comes first. In that,
is that the situation that the character is in? Is the world?
Yeah. No. I'd say the situation coming into the plot. I would say that the world building comes first in that because you're taking I'd say all of it because you're thinking it's like maybe my process is different to yours or to everyone else's. That the thing that sticks in me or gets me writing is character in situation in plot.
Yeah,
it's a piece of character, a piece of world building, and a piece of plot all together. So it's like person in a thing doing a thing. So you have a person. So you have those 3 things. A person commits an action in a location. Those three things connect are the nub of the story.
Is the situation why they're doing the thing?
No, the situation. I think the situation is the well, that I think maybe I just described it as a situation as in that the character has to exist inside the situation. It's like if you look at take one of Stephen King's work, like say Carrie. It's a girl going through a girl becoming a woman and dealing with her high school trauma at the same time. Oh, and magic. So because you can excise the magic bit at the end, kind of out of it, and then you then attach all the other pieces to it. Maybe he's talking about the fact that you then attach the hunk, the cheerleader, the mother to the story, and then
is he going like the situation is girl coming of age in high school?
Yeah,
that's the situation, and he hasn't really formed who that girl is yet.
Yes, so the religious aspects are not there yet.
Yeah, there's no, she hasn't developed a face, or as he puts it in the rule, or the personality.
Yeah,
necessarily. He just goes, okay, that's the situation. Now let's look at who she is.
Yeah. And
then what she does.
I would say that before writing the first word of the story, then he has to know already that she's religious, that her mother is dictatorial, is domineering.
Yeah. So, like you say, pieces.
Yeah.
All together in a mix.
Yeah. So I would say to disagree with that one.
Yeah. So would I, because it's not as clean cut as do one first, do the second next, and then follow on with the rest, which seems to be what he's saying. It's kind of like, I think your blended approach is the way I do it as well. I wouldn't like, so it's like, I didn't just go, okay, let's have a female knight. Okay, she's standing around in her armor, this is the things she likes and does. Okay, so now what's the situation? It was a case of, she is this person in this situation, and here's what she is needing to do.
Yeah,
it's all together all at once.
Yeah. So you can build from different locations. You can build from a character, or a world building, or a plot.
Let's have another one.
Yeah. So so never use emolument when you meant tip. So no, don't use big words when similar words would suffice.
Well, I don't know.
I am also in two minds about this one.
Yeah, I think, well, the use of language, like, because all language has a rhythm, and all prose has a rhythm to it. Like I say, if you were to mumble it to yourself as you're reading, there's a certain rhythm and a cadence that is, feels comfortable to read. It's not jarring. It's not like staccato. It's not like a sentence cutting. It's not like an axe chopping. It's more like plain, just smoothing.
Sure.
Nice
way of putting it. Sure.
There's and the use of certain words at certain times could enhance that rhythm, rather than using the most efficient, simplistic word in that situation. It might cut that rhythm, or it might upset that rhythm. So I think it's probably a lot more modern writing.
Sure.
There could be like a move away from older writing where it's more poetic, even.
Okay.
Where they wouldn't have the phrases, like biotech, but they, old, writers back in the day would use these kind of metaphors and use these kind of similes and the more expressive, kind of colorful words to get their ideas across. They wouldn't use tip if emolument was the proper phrase.
The term of the time. Yeah.
So I don't know how we are today, but I don't think I necessarily agree with just be efficient and not beautiful.
Sure, I would be, I'm of two minds. One is, I get where he's coming from, the idea of you don't have to, keep it simple, stupid. That you don't have to express your full vocabulary on every page.
Definitely not.
In the kind of description parts, sure, you want to be as efficient as possible. But also, because in the description parts of writing, I like being poetical as well as being prosaical. I like being as straightforward as possible, and being flowery in my language. I would say that I would absolutely agree that the type of person, as in the example you gave wasn't back in time, but even if you're trying to in their dialogue, if you have a rich person, they may say emolument rather than tip. They'll say gratuity. They may say, they will use the terms that are better suited to, and
for their context. Yeah.
And indeed, having a character use that term I knew this guy years ago who would, he was a smart enough guy, but he was told something, I think whether by adults, as in this, he used to do it when he was a kid, whether by an adult or he read it in a book somewhere, that to ingratiate yourself to people, you should repeat the same words that they use.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, I had a different vocabulary to him, or I spent my time reading, as in fantasy books and reading role playing books and all that jazz. So I was encountering different, say, terminology, and I would use certain terms, and he would use them back, and they would get them wrong.
Uh-huh.
But in a character way, that's very good.
Yeah,
because the person, if
the fanboy is trying to fit in,
exactly. So they'll use
with the king.
Use gratuity. They'll try and use the term, and indeed, it's like the line from Captain America. It's like, so what do you fondue? It's bread and cheese. So that is the lack of information, the lack of understanding, or even the correct understanding of those terms can be very, very effective. Yeah. So I would say it's a story, but I can understand where he's coming from.
Well, we'd all agree Shakespeare was a pretty good writer, right? I think you've heard of him.
I have.
Yeah. And one of his quotes was, "Brevity is the soul of wit."
Yeah. In which case, I'm fucking not witty at all. I'm not brief at all.
But in and of itself, that phrase is brief and witty.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because he's saying brevity is the soul of wit, but he's using the word soul, which is evocative.
Oh yeah, no, it's a wonderful turn. It's surprised that more people don't read it. But he's just unknown. Next one. So it's like I was so hoping we're going to disagree about these. Next one. Call the one person you write for the ideal reader. He or she is going to be in your writing room all the time.
Yeah, no, I think we kind of talked about this before, and you had a lovely term for it, which your ideal reader...
Bob?
No, yeah, well, hi, Bob. What was the term? Can't remember it.
I can't remember either, so it must have been a wonderful term.
I think I'm a pro something. It was a pro... doesn't matter.
Pro something? Okay, I'll remember in a second.
Yeah, I think it's in one of the titles of the episodes.
Okay,
like the ideal person that you're writing for.
Yeah. So I see. If we've talked about this before, then we can skip past it. Yeah, that having an ideal, having the person that you write for, then yeah, sure, I would agree with that.
Well, I'm writing for me, and I'm always in the writing room, so that's covered.
Sure. Okay. Am I writing for me? Yes and no. I guess there is a multifaceted person that I am writing for, as in they're not one person, but they share the faces. It's like a legion type of idea
hovering behind you. No, that's
something else.
Yeah, you need to call an old priest and a young priest to come around to your gaff.
No, that's not good. That's
writing.
Sorry, the next one I was going to skip past was set a daily writing goal. So someone's saying keep writing.
That's the spirits behind you with their 1,000 faces. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be more a set a daily writing goal. I'm kind of, because I have set myself a daily writing goal of 1,100 words. But at the moment, I just checked this morning, and I'm 7,000 words behind. Because
I need a time machine
for this month. Yeah. It's not from this year, from this month.
Yeah, I mean, common sense, set a writing goal. That's kind of.
But it's also, but the thing is, setting a writing goal that's too ambitious can be very negative. It will go.
That's like one novel a week. There I go.
It's like, no, you're not going to fucking do that. But then you work out, well, say I write emails very quickly. It's like, no, you're not writing an email. Yeah. You're writing prose. It's fucking different.
Yeah, it's difficult.
So, like, my hope is that I go home tonight, and I've got all of tonight and all of tomorrow to kind of catch up. And as we've talked about in other ones, I've got a few ideas that I want to kind of scenes that I have to write. So,
do you think George R. R. Martin has listened to that particular, rule? Setting a writing goal for Winds of Winter?
Yes, but I think I mentioned before, I think that Winds of Winter is already written.
Yeah, probably is. Yeah, sitting on the shelf.
I think that he has got to the point where, because he isn't publishing anything else,
Yeah.
and all his wildcard stuff and all his other stuff that he's involved in, that's all fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
So no, I think that I think because he's so close to the end.
I know, it's just a cheeky comment. I know.
How dare you? Okay, skipping past
my long lost great uncle George R. R. Martin.
Yes. Oh, here's one that we may disagree with. The road to hell is paved with adverbs. Loudly, nastily, slowly, kindly, softly.
Yeah, I don't tend to use them if I can avoid it. To be honest, I don't like them. Adverbs, loudly,
I think there are a few poor examples. But I would tend to be.
They're a tool, and like any tool, you use it for the right job.
Yes, but so the suggestion, and I've heard before, and the idea of you should read through whatever you've written and then just chop out a bunch of
all the LYs at the end of all your adverbs.
Yes, just chop them all out, or just or at the very least every second one just delete it. And I would perhaps be in the overuse or what would be defined as overuse, because I would use them a lot.
But if you were to say, like, get down, they shouted loudly. It's like, you don't need it loudly when you have shouted.
But I would then say commanded.
Or whatever.
Ordered. I go back to the said.
Yeah. That's funny.
And I think those words, those description, those dialogue tags, serve the same function as an adverb in this regard.
Okay.
That they are an alternate word that has got a feeling or emotion or some sort of trigger attached to it, or with some sort of descriptive aspect to it, rather than just simply said. Because you can say loudly or you can say shouted, and the people who would say "don't use said," or so would say the same people who let me start again. The same people who would say only use said are the people who would say don't use loudly. So while I would say shouted, and they'd say said. So,
yeah, whereas I would I tend, like I said, not to use adverbs. I can't remember, like, the delivery going on. This needs an adverb in here, but like, say, instead of we need to hide, she said quietly. You go, we need to hide, either, she whispered, if you're changing the said tag. But you could say, we need to hide, she said, her voice trailing off to nothing. You could,
sure, but that
instead of quietly.
Yes, but is, in my mind, and this speaks to this, that her voice trailing off, her voice trailing off is the same as quietly. And indeed, if you're trying to be brief, or you're trying to if they're in a tense situation, you don't necessarily want to use the trailing off line, because that's too many words in that moment. You want to be to the point. She said, she whispered. She said quietly, she whispered. That so you can easily go on to the next the reply or the next action point. So I would tend to.
So depends is the answer.
No, I would tend to disagree with this one in that it's an easy thing to target.
Yeah.
It's an easy aspect to go.
And I agree with this one because I don't like adverbs.
You don't want. Yes. Yeah.
So I think the road to hell is paved.
Well, I'm on my way. Then we'll do one more from Stephen King list, and then we'll call that.
Okay.
The best stories always end up being about people rather than events.
Yeah, well, the best story is kind of a human story, isn't it?
Yeah, this seems to be reductive in that no story is without personification of some sort.
Yeah.
So every story is about people, not about events.
And how they react and what they do and how they feel and what the consequences of their actions are and what the consequences of others is on them. It's not about necessarily an event.
Yes, and I tend to think that because the reaction to it, like it's when I think about it from the opposite point of view, when I think about the stories that are about events, they tend to be about historic events.
Yeah.
They tend to be about events of cultural significance. So you're talking about it being a broader thing.
But how significant is it without the people that were present or that were?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
I'm trying to think what he's thinking about when he says that.
But I'm agreeing with you. As strange as that is, I know it's scary. I know it's scary, but
I need an adult.
well, there's no one in this fucking room.
Shit.
That, like, if you watch, say, a documentary about an event, then the best ones do draw down into the individual
Personal
involved.
experience.
But the worst ones, or the ones that at least I'm thinking about, they tend to almost remove the responsibility of the event from the person and attach it to a society, a correlating event. It is
its impact on the world or whatever.
No, that from the other way around. So that the event isn't caused by a person; it's caused by an event. It's caused by like a
tsunami.
Sorry.
Say a tsunami is an event. Big tidal wave.
Oh yeah, but a tsunami would be called by, say, a T wave, like an underwater earthquake.
Yeah, geological thing that happened.
But I'm more talking about kind of like cultural and social things because it is because and this is maybe a slight tangent, which we'll quickly wrap up, that it is it's all in my mind. I would say that it's all to do with people. So there's that in describing any event, it boils down to people. It doesn't boil down to systems. It doesn't boil down. But I think that maybe this is simply a modern way of looking back at history, but there is a inclination to look at the systems that were wrong, rather than the people who put those systems in place.
But if just on a very, very simple level, you can go back to, that old adage, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to see it, does it make a sound?
Or who cares?
It has to be relating to the people that are either witnessing or present or it had an effect on. It's all human. All stories are human stories.
That we're interested in, yeah. I'm quite sure that the relations of the relations of the tree matter if he felt or she felt or it felt.
But yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Stephen King. I don't think we agree with you on that one.
No, it seems a bit reductive.
Yeah. And I think we will leave it there. As always, there are so many authors with so many rules. We are not some of them.
We do not have.
We don't have their success, their bank accounts, their fan base, or
their rules.
It would seem. And whether that's a good or bad thing remains to be seen.
Yep.
I would love if someone came to me from some big magazine to go, Gary J. Martin, what are your rules for writing? I go,
then that's a great place to start off from next.
Yeah. But until that time, which may never come, we'll say goodbye for now. And thanks for listening. This has been Fictional Problems.
Keep watching the sky.